Okay, and this is yet another poem for Emily Dickinson, who I consider a combination of Kafka and other people on the cusp of the old and the new back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, because she and Kafka should have married and had children. But anyway, because they're both weirdest. And they both represent the old world in, Prague and in that Puritan community that she grew up in, but they're both so far over the horizon, they're not even in the advanced next generations. They're still both brand new. They're that different. So, for sweet, bitter Emily, dead 2 centuries. Not one to duck when rocks like wild geese fly with wings on fire across the sky, sighted high, high amidst the stratocirrus, a depth of field with stars that call us on long walks on cold late hours in which I let my lonely ways keep me company. Tasting the woods like a gin berry between my teeth, very warm with tea, I see the hedges, a bestiary of silhouette beneath a red moon. Red with a red, not the red that cries of blood shed in war, but a red of that red that into purple wanes with the pop of gusts and the purr of distant trains. This fairy time is a time to spot the lumen of half-sibling sweethearts out there in the heights where the constellations are clouds that shower stars in these late hours, that in their more distant trains go down beyond the ring of earth to deep haunts where lost loves walk hand in hand on ash-lit plains, where silence runs like rivers in Hades as its veins.
Simone Weil was captured in Marseille. She was a clumsy scarecrow of a girl with a staccato French drawl, a spinster of the bookshelves. She was a beaky intellectual of such overweening genius that never condensed its seething Tesla nebula into an orrery of ordered thought within the thunderclouds of smoke. As such, all chain smokers scowl from within. Simone Weil was captured in Marseille. The police found her putting pamphlets of resistance called the Cahiers du Témoignage Crétin into the hands of French partisans. To her chagrin, despite her Catharism and Caucasian skin, Simone was designated a Jew by the same fiat of bureaucratic selection that would make a Star of David of red and yellow triangles sole and sufficient identification for this red virgin. For this red virgin's journey deep within the internal ghetto of the Nazi concentrationslager, hidden amongst lovely Europe's disembowelment into yellow unraveling intestine. From Ravensbrück above Berlin, down the 2 sides of a triangle, to Dachau, outside Munich, and Auschwitz, out in Poland. Wait, hear me out. If you holiday out of the way and are surprised to find a brick wall on both sides, as if just to keep you and all the others to the highway, where there is little but hills that sulk, ruled off by birches. Go on. For God's sake, there are better beaches. Up the coast not far, and I must warn you, they're spiteful and sullen. Those children, laughter, all sarcasm. They say it itches, claim to shed meat dry as an onion's. Itches. Burns. Itches and burns. The girls, pale as dry ice in their face. Boys who kiss to costume the bite. It's not right. It itches, just like itches. It itches and burns. Curtains drawn. Every one of their houses are identically white. Don't stop for directions. Don't dream spend the night. It itches. It itches. And you're home right there where you are. And oh God, how it will be itches. Itches. Itches and burns for the rest of your life. Don't dare spend the night. Unkind nature. To others you show your beauties. Spring bonnets, gentle eulogies, peach-cheeked children. But to me, you show your wan complexion. Am I the son of the seed of a cursed species? Did some forgotten ancestor curse Jesus on the cross, or forge some new religion and puffed up with prodigies and innovation strut like a sin stuffed chicken full of sausages, figs, and infamy? Why, O nature, so full of breast for others, has the witch queen Hecate chosen despite me? Why must I lodge in the mongrel quarter, on streets with names not found on maps made in Christian countries? Why? Why does both love and kindness shun me? Why do others see the stars while only the inky void calls out to me? What do I hear above the storm and brute waves crashing on the ship wreck littered beach? Are the horns of Pan piping for me? Do leather wings above my carriage beat? O unkind nature, for your other children you are so full of beauty. Why do you reserve bedchambers with rats in the walls and subterranean caverns for me. So many ancestors of my ancestry remain mysteries. Pirates of California, priests bringing prayers from the South China Sea, teachers banned with their books, bachelors born to live lives for decades in rooms they are not seen ever to leave. And of all these strangers, on my long family tree, where can I find my true identity? And last but not least, how can I face myself in the mirror after my discovery? That's why I pressed for an abortion. That's why I stopped answering Gail's calls. That's why I had a vasectomy. That's why I treat my friends like strangers. See, I do not want a son of mine to ever know what the word Innsmouth means to me.
The man his mother sent to sea. Throb. Surge. Heave. Crash. 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 The North Korean tramp steamer, registered in Manila, sailing out of Mindanao, was engaged in a brutal slow-motion slug-out with wave surges whose source lay centered at his destination, 11 degrees 21 minutes north, 142 degrees 12 minutes east. Whatever lay miles below that latitude and longitude may indeed be sleeping, but something was walking in the corridors of its dreams, very aware of what was to transpire above the sky of solid rock and waves above its head. Throb. Surge. Heave. Crash. 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 The prow, driven by specially rebuilt engines, thrust up through waves that inexplicably had turned black and had the consistency of crankcase oil. Throb. Surge. Heave. Crash. 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 The engines muscled their way to a raging peak. The waves pressed the prow up. The steamer slid over the crests and then crashed, bouncing into the trough, again and again and again. The sky waxed green and even shades of purple painted the steely cloud cover. Captain Wingate felt strangely lulled like a baby in the cradle of his ship as his ship struggled forward on mighty engines no surveillance drone or satellite would discern his vessel possessed. Throb. Surge. Heave. Crash. 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 His shrapnel-ruined face split like that of a Komodo lizard, and he hissed under his mustache as he smiled. Throb. Surge. Heave. Crash. 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 The coordinates lay like an invisible infrared X on the corrugated green-gray desert of ocean ahead. Seagulls of an unfamiliar phenotype screamed like prehistoric reptiles above the mast. Raised in Newburyport, where his distraught father had brought him after his mother walked out to sea and drowned, Wingate had gone to sea himself as soon as possible, finding the merchant marine much more to his liking as he preferred mongrel ports and mongrel company than his short stint in the American Navy. The divorce was not amicable, but his discharge was not dishonorable. And he had found the scent of salt music to my nose, as his mother had often said to him as a child. Focused on what he called his bump of attention, he could hear the heartbeat of his men like children beating on the curb with sticks all around him. The radar whirred and pinged. Throb. Surge. Heave. Crash, crash, crash. The radar whirred and pinged. Throb. Surge. Heave. As he focused on his men's hearts, they began to beat in sync. Beat, beat, beat. The wind came up and the flags began to flap. Clap, clap, clap. Throb. Surge. Heave. He had the devil's own egg on board. Crash, crash, crash. He had a mess of blood red riding the waves ahead of him on the horizon. Throb. Surge. Heave. He tapped his toe. Tap, tap, tap. The flags clapped. Clap, clap, clap. He was going to drop a deviled egg down to the devil. Throb. Surge. Heave. Wingate was not his name. Throb. Surge. Heave. And he was not a man. Crash, crash, crash.